Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley Flowers, and if you're like me and grew up watching America's Most Wanted and reading Nancy Drew, then hi, you're a crime junkie. And I bet that passion for solving mysteries never went away, which is why we've assembled a team of reporters to dig deep into all the cases we still obsess over. Each Monday, my best friend Britt and I will bring you a case that you won't be able to stop thinking and talking about. So join us by listening to Crime Junkie wherever you listen to podcasts.
Everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yay! And choo-choo!
Ha! Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on another crazy edition of Small Town Murder Express. All aboard the murder train, everyone. Leaving the station for a real twisty, weird episode today. Good stuff, wild things. Before we get into that, very quickly, just want to say shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets August the 12th in Chicago. Things are sold out up until Chicago, but August the 12th in Chicago, come there. It'll be a one-time. We're going to do a one-off show for them. The only time we're going to perform this particular live show this year on our tour will be in Chicago. So if you want to see it, that's the only place you can. Get your tickets August 12th, and then after that, too, a few dates still have tickets, a couple left in D.C., and then also Atlanta, Dallas, and Philly and Charlotte. There you go. So shutupandgivememurder.com. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get the bonus material. Anybody $5 or above, you get it all. You get the whole back catalog of bonus stuff, hundreds of episodes in there, and then every other week you get 2 new episodes. This week is no different. For Crime and Sports, you're going to get in-ring boxing deaths.
Oh, boy.
Oh, there's been so many. What's the worst way to die? Maybe beaten to death while thousands of people cheer. That might be the worst way to die. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about a documentary about a family that makes the
Holy
wild
fuck.
and wonderful whites of West Virginia look like the British royal family. That's what they look like compared to.
What a hollow.
Wow, it's from Mudlick, Kentucky they are, and it is just wild stuff. And then a murder springs from it also, and you see it developing in the documentary, and you're like, oh, no.
Very obvious.
And then it happens, and you're like, I knew that was going to happen. So we'll check all of that out. That's patreon.com/crimeinsports. That said,
Yeah.
I think it's time to clear the lungs, everybody. Let's do this. What do you say, Jimmy? You feeling... Let's do it. Let's deep
Extra
breaths.
antsy, yeah.
Extra antsy. Let's do this. Arms toward the sky, everyone. And let's shout, shut up
and
give me murder.
Murder.
Let's do this, Jimmy. What do you say? Let's go on a
I'd
trip.
love to.
shall
Yeah,
we?
let's do it.
Let's head on down to South Carolina. Yes, Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Oh, there's
Yes.
a college there or some
Yes,
shit.
there
isn't
is.
Yeah.
Yes, there is. And you've heard this name before. A lot of football
Yeah.
players tend to congregate and be from here.
Right.
And one killed a person here. That's not this episode, but that'll be for crime and sports. But definitely here. Rock Hill, South Carolina. It's been a while since we've been to South Carolina here.
Yeah.
Population right now is above what we would normally do. Right now it's almost 73,000 people.
My God.
But when this murder happened in 1990, there was only 41,000 people in it. It definitely
that
had all
qualifies.
the
Yeah.
trappings of a small town here. Median household income in this place is $40,718, which is below the national average, but it's college. It always skews that. Median home price here also lower than the national average, $279,500.
Wow.
South Carolina generally you can get houses cheap. My dad lived there.
Rock Hill, very affordable.
My dad moved there for that reason, because you could get a house there cheap when he lived there. So a little bit of history about this town here. Settlers started coming in 1830s, 1840s, but the railroad decided to send a rail line through here, and that, of course, made it a town here.
Sure.
They were trying to build a station in the nearby village of Ebenezerville,
Oh,
which is a terrible name for a town.
well, the mayor's a little crotchety.
That's what I mean. Christmas is terrible there. So, the locals in Ebenezerville refused to have the railroad run through their village, though.
Oh, yeah, because they're real Scrooges about it.
Well, they want to keep everything there for themselves. Well, back then, that was what they wanted. Remember, the whole plot of Blazing Saddles is the real estate will go up if a rail line comes through there, so let's buy up all the land. That was the whole thing. Here, they said, nope, it's dirty and noisy.
We'd rather be broke.
We don't give a shit about commerce. So they just ran the line 2 miles away. So there you go. And they marked the spot on the map and named it Rocky Hill. And there you go. Okay. The first families of Rocky Hill, which are funny, are named White and Black. Those are the families that come here first. The White family and the Black family.
Fascinating.
And I think they were both
the Black
white.
family were white people. And
Yeah,
the White family were black people.
all black people. So the three largest, there was the large landowners in the area. George Pendleton White, one of them here, contracted with the railroad to build a section of the line that started in 1848. After the Civil War, obviously, things changed a lot down here.
Sure.
The former land-owning elite people that were very wealthy ended up having to sell their land off to stay financially afloat. And that sort of thing. It was only, by 1870, they only had buildings that were 1 story tall. There was no sidewalks on the road, anything like that. It was, finally, a bordello came in.
Oh, yeah.
In
You got to put
1881.
2 stories up there. Yeah.
And they paved the first sidewalk. They were like, you're going to walk comfortably up here to choose from these line of women that we have for you. And in 2021, former NFL player Philip Adams shot and killed 6 people, including 2 children.
Jesus, Philip.
At a house in Rock Hill, and he committed suicide.
Phil, what's with all this gun, man? What are you doing with all that gun, Phil?
That's a Beverly
changed,
Hills cop.
man.
You changed, Phil. What you doing with all this gun, man? What you do with all this gun, man? That's my favorite line.
It's pretty funny.
We will do that on Crime and Sports, which you should be listening to Crime and Sports if you're not. It's been very murderous lately. So if you want
really
some
good
murder,
now.
they're
Yeah.
good. Reviews of this town, 5 stars. Here's the first one. Loves it. Okay. Nicknamed Football City, USA.
Oh.
Rock Hill, South Carolina, the 5th largest city in the state, is considered to be the prime spot for football players to make it to the NFL.
Wow.
Interesting. Rock Hill has a multitude of things to do, whether it's bowling with your friends, going to beautiful Winthrop University and enjoying the lakes, eating some good home cooking, of course, with the apostrophe, or rather simply enjoying the beauty the town has to offer. If this sounds like a good time to you, join me and let's rock the hill together.
How does that
That's a commercial.
That
the mayor
make you a football player.
Yeah, that's just the script that the mayor would say on the commercial to visit Rock Hill. Join me. 4 stars, common suburban town, fairly safe, not a whole lot to do, but just enough. Many areas are very safe. You just need to avoid places and streets that are not. Well, that's like saying comedy's very easy. You just tell the jokes that are funny. You just tell the jokes that get the laughs. Just skip the ones that don't work. Well, yeah, that's the point. How the fuck do you know that?
Not being a drug addict is really easy if you don't do drugs.
It's pretty wild. Yeah, just don't do drugs. It's easy. Wow. 3 stars. It is a nice area. There is a lot of violence. Well, those two statements don't go together for one sentence. It's a weird sentence. It's not a place you should think of staying all your life. If you can move away, done come back, never, ever, 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 ever return it. 5 evers. Is a nice area. There is lots of violence. You've said that already. Interesting. That's it. And then
fascinating person.
Then they repeat that again.
Again?
They just repeated that again. 2 stars. We need more good choices. Yes, you know what? That can describe a lot of lives and people and places.
Starts with you, my friend.
That starts. Try it at home first. 1 star. Small southern city, no major attractions or events. We indulge in a lot of sports such as football. A lot of NFL players have come out of this area. It's all football.
We indulge in all kinds of sports like this
such
one.
as that one. 1 star. The police are responsive. The outside of the area is not kept up well. The pets us bathroom all over the place. I don't know what that means. The pets us the bathroom all over the place. The pets use the bathroom all over the place.
There's dog shit everywhere, James.
Just say piles of dog shit line the streets and we'll know what you're talking about.
Inconsiderate people walk their dogs. That's what happens.
And then people sit trash outside and it has caused bug issues. Just throw a bunch of garbage in the yard, I guess.
Just dump it right on the curb.
You're saying the outskirts are trash is what you're saying. Yeah. Just say that.
You're saying out in the county, it's gross.
It's
weird.
Gross. In town, pretty nice. Rural, gets shittier. Things to do, the Come See Me Festival.
Oh.
It's at the annual Salute to Spring.
Okay.
That's what it is. The Salute to Spring. And it debuted in 1962 as a community project to encourage tourists, relatives, and friends to visit Rock Hill during its most beautiful season. That's it. There's also a mascot, Glenn the Frog.
Oh.
Yes, there's 30 different styles of Glenn the Frog, by the way.
Oh.
He's wearing different shit.
Leisure suit Glenn.
Golfing Glenn with a little Kangol hat on and shit. Yeah. Each year, the festival chair selects a new logo and updates its design and colors. So you want to keep no consistency with your branding. Very smart.
Change it all every year.
Change it every year. Be sure to visit the historic award-winning Glen Cairn Garden, created by Dr. David A. Bigger. Look at it. I'm bigger.
Yeah.
To experience the beauty and spirit. Okay. That said, what do you say? Let's talk about some murder here.
It's a very confusing town.
Wow. This is a weird little town. The college is really kind of, I feel like there's old people and college. That's kind of what goes on here.
Right. What is this a suburb of?
I think this is
Charleston,
I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah. So this would be, I'm trying to think of what county of On Patrol this is. Is it Richland or Berkeley? Because they're both a disaster. Both those counties are just constant.
Yeah.
Nobody pulls over, first of all.
Which live PD am I watching?
As soon as the lights come on, it's the person immediately turns. No. Not only on the road, they just turn into the woods and start driving. There's one where we watched a guy in a little Mitsubishi drive through like 3 miles of woods. It was the most awesome thing. Finally, the cop got like stuck in some trees and had to like stop, and they had the car cam on. It was so fucking funny. I was dying. This guy got away, and he ran for 20 minutes. It was the greatest thing ever.
Hauled ass through the woods in a fucking mirage.
Another one went through a golf course down there, which was awesome. Busted through the barrier thing and just was driving on a green. There's people with their putters standing there like, what the fuck? As a car shoots over the sand trap. It was awesome. So wild shit down here.
6 guys in a sand trap singing Constance Fry.
Yeah, Constance. Oh, fuck, run. So for this murder, we have to go back in time a bit here, quite a bit actually, to January 23rd, 1990. And 1990, interesting time because it's not the 70s with the whole serial killer stuff. It's not that. It's not later. It's before social media and cell phones. It's this weird little bubble. DNA is just coming out, so murder investigations
time, though, because
are changing.
It's a decade change, but like fashion hung on for 3-4 years in the 90s.
Every decade does
wild.
that. Look at people from 1982. They're wearing bell bottoms. It's the same shit.
You got a great point.
And then 85, it's a different thing. Yeah.
You look at 9/11 footage, and you're like, oh my God, they're dressed like shit.
Yeah, it's the same shit.
That's the second thing that strikes you, obviously.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that guy's shirt. Isn't the first thing you think of. So January 23rd, 1990. Okay, there's a young lady here named Felicia Shepard Kirk. Okay, early 20s. She is in a rental house that she lives in with a roommate, another young lady here. She's awoken by a noise on her wall. It's the wall that connects with her roommate's bedroom. There's kind of a rubbing noise. It's an interior. She has like a rubbing noise. It wakes her up at 4 o'clock in the morning, this noise.
Oh.
She's like, what the hell is she doing in there? Her roommate in the next room is Melinda Renee Snyder. She's 22 at this time. She was born September 15th, 1967. She is a recent graduate of Winthrop University, which is the hometown university. She grew up here in Rock Hill. She's a hometown girl. Went to college, just graduated. She's now a teacher's aide at Northside Elementary School. That's where she works. She's a former beauty queen. She's a devout Christian. She's got a lot going on for her. She's got friends and things and church and, school and a lot. She's social.
It's all working.
She's smart, social, well-liked.
Early 20s on her own doing it.
Absolutely. She's been having some issues, though, financially because she's a teacher's aide. That doesn't pay a lot of money.
She's 20,
And she's 22, obviously, too. But, I mean, teacher's aide, entry-level teacher's aide isn't making a lot to support yourself.
$18,000 a year.
Yeah, so she was making plans at the end of the month, the middle of February, she was going to move to Ohio, where her parents had moved, to be with them, and so she could live there and get a job and kind of have a better base. So she planned to do that. Financially having a hard time. She has her bachelor's degree in elementary education, and January 2nd, she started at Northside Elementary School. Okay. So she was saying if she didn't move, she was going to have to get a second job to make ends meet, and she didn't want to just work 24/7. She thought it'd be better just to, go to Ohio and it's tough. Go to Ohio and find a job there and have a base of operations.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to be the teacher that outside of school your students see you on your second job. That's not fun.
No, that's if they see you at the Sonic, that's not good.
Yeah.
If you come over and bring their tater tots, they're like, Miss Snyder, what the fuck are you bringing me my tater tots for? You can't get respect back after that. They don't even have to be doing something embarrassing or not. That's embarrassing, but they don't even have to be doing something below.
It's just a second job, for Christ's sake. That's
if I saw a teacher shopping at the grocery store when I was a kid, I was like, oh, they're just a loser who buys.
Teachers spending their salary. That's not good.
He was buying Mama Celeste frozen pizzas. This guy's a loser. Like, I would be fucking done with that guy at that point. Like, teachers need to be put in a box.
Our science teacher was a bartender at Ruby Tuesdays at the mall.
Not good. Oh, at the PV mall?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Ruby Tuesdays, that's not good at all.
That's not good at all.
You're going to get made fun of a lot for that. So his company was transferred. He was transferred by his company, her father was, in 1984. They had moved to Connecticut, then to Cincinnati. Then she came back to Rock Hill to go to college, and now she's going to go back with her parents here. So she said, anyway, back to Felicia Kirk, who heard the noise, she said it was a sound of a rubbing on the wall. And she said that, quote, I heard that sound for a little while, and after that, she said she heard someone came from Melinda's room, and she heard footsteps down the hall because that's in front of her door, and she heard that person go into the bathroom. Then she heard a minute later, she heard footsteps going back to the bedroom, Melinda's bedroom, and then she heard a loud bang. So she hears a loud bang. She said a lot of different things were going through my head at the time, Felicia says. She said I didn't know anything was wrong. She thought that her roommate, Melinda, was working on her bed frame because she's had problems with it a bunch before. One of the screws keeps coming out. And she's,
sure.
When you get a bad bed frame, it is a fucking nightmare because I had one of those. It was a nightmare. Stripped screws
right now.
Yeah. No one sleep on that. Just it's for show. It looks like we're ready for guests, but we're not. Someone comes in, you throw them a sleeping bag. They're like, but the bed, no, you don't want to go on there.
Jesus Christ.
You don't want to go on there.
Taking your life in your own hands if you lay on that.
You're never going to, you're not going to make it through the night in that thing.
It's on you, my friend. Don't you sue me.
Here's your sleeping bag.
I don't have homeowners insurance.
Yeah. So Felicia hears Melinda. She goes, she must be working on her bed frame, and she's probably jostling it around. That would make sense. It's kind of noise I heard. I don't know what that bang was, but she was like kind of half asleep because she heard the rubbing, woke up, heard the person go to the bathroom. While they're in the bathroom, she's nodding back off again. Yeah. And then she hears kind of footsteps that she's half asleep, groggy, and then she hears a bang. And when you hear something when you're asleep, you don't know if it actually happened or not. You know what I mean?
Not just that, it's like you hear that noise and then you start thinking about like what could that have been?
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea.
And was it louder than I thought it was? Is it quieter than I thought I was? I have no confidence. When I'm asleep like that, I have no confidence in any of my, senses at all at that point. It's a mess. So she got back in bed, thinking that maybe it was Melinda leaving, and maybe that was the door slamming. Maybe that's what woke her up. Maybe she just slammed it by accident or something. Sure. But then she's in bed again, and she hears some moaning from Melinda's room now. Oh. Now she hears moaning, so she gets out of bed, opens her door to the hallway, and smells gunpowder.
Oh.
And she's like, that's not a normal smell in my house. Neither of them are smokers. Nobody's smoking in the house. It's if it's a house where nobody does anything, you smell everything in the house.
Gunpowder burn is very obvious.
Totally. They keep it clean, too. This is the type of place, if you brought a dog in there, they'd smell it for 2 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still smell that dog that came in here 2 days ago. So she walks out, smells the gunpowder, and looks in, and Melinda's door is open, and she sees that she's like lying on her bed in a weird way, and her nightgown is pulled up above her breasts.
Oh, no.
And it's a very odd thing to see. Yeah. So she kind of freaks out. She looks out the window and sees a white car with black molding and a brake light in its back window driving away.
Third brake light, yeah.
So she's like, okay. She immediately sees that, and she thinks something's wrong, and she smells the gunpowder, and obviously that's a signal that something's wrong. She calls out to Melinda. She doesn't answer. She's right fucking 5 feet away. So she calls 911.
Yeah.
And she says, quote, my roommate just shot herself.
Oh.
Yeah, my roommate just shot herself. So the dispatcher, though, is saying go in to the room. If you call 911 and say someone's got a medical emergency, they start walking you through how to help.
Right.
Like, they don't just go, well, stand off to the side and we'll be there soon. Yeah. Like, they're like, well, run in there, do this, trying to do everything.
Don't touch anything, especially not the body. They don't say that.
They don't say that. So she said, Felicia wouldn't go in there. She said, I'm not going in there. So they said, quote, can you go in there and do that for me? Go check on her, see if she's breathing, look for vital signs. Yeah. And she said, no, I'm not doing it. Felicia said no. The dispatcher's like, what the fuck are you talking about? The dispatcher asked like 5 times, please go in there and you have to go do this. And she said, I'm not going to do it. It's not happening. You can't make me.
I hate to laugh, but that is funny.
It's fucking crazy, right? She then, this is from the 911 tape. She's crying, Felicia Kirk, and she says, I'm passing out. I can't see. Hold on a second. Melinda. And she calls out, Melinda. Again, she calls out, and then she says, no, I can't go in there.
You don't understand. I've never seen trauma in my life.
I don't want to start now. Yeah, I'm not into this.
I'm not going with the most trauma first step. Not happening. No.
Let's go see my roommates possibly or brains blown out. That seems
Maybe my dad
fair.
can call me a bitch first. How about that?
Maybe
Let's
that, and a whore. Maybe a whore. Maybe I have my dad call me a whore. That would be good.
Let's start with low rung trauma before we go with murder in my face.
It's right in my face. So detectives arrive at the scene, and when they get there, no one has checked on Melinda yet. She's still Felicia never went in there. So when they get there, she's still alive. What? Detectives, paramedics go onto the scene, and she's still alive, barely. She's got a gunshot wound to the left side of her head, right behind her temple. Very close range, right where you would put the gun if you shoot yourself in the head.
Yeah.
Basically. So they said a special agent here said she was wearing only a nightgown, which was pulled up over her chest, and her underwear were off and over on the floor in a very neat room otherwise. Not the type of room that just has underwear littered about it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So now after this, between the time that Felicia called 911 and people arrived, she called her brother and Melinda's boyfriend.
Really?
Yes, in that time to freak out and tell them about it and have them come over. So
these are men. That's natural progression.
I guess come over. It's 4:00 in the morning. Come over and maybe try to protect before the cops get here. Now the boyfriend though had broken up with Melinda 6 days earlier.
Really?
Yeah, that's the first thing the cops want to know about. She got anybody she's seeing? Well, her boyfriend just broke up with her 6 days ago. Love to talk to him. Love to talk to him.
Got his phone number?
Yeah. But I mean, this looks like a suicide, and the fact that the boyfriend broke up with her 6 days before, she's struggling financially and all that kind of thing, they go, maybe she fucking shot herself. And she's 22. Who knows? Maybe she had some depression and it's undiagnosed, and who knows? So they look around, and they find a spent .22 cartridge.
Okay.
So they find that, but they can't find a gun anywhere.
Really?
Yeah. So Melinda certainly didn't shoot herself and then go throw her gun in a creek and then go get back in bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she didn't hold the shell and tap it with a pen or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just holding a rock up to it and a mallet.
Hits it with a ball peen.
Yeah. So the captain of the Rock Hill Police Department said it was originally reported as a suicide. It was very obviously not a suicide. So
right.
Yeah, there's no, point of that. So they rush her to the hospital, still alive, but she dies 2 hours later, Melinda.
Oh, what a fucking nightmare.
She doesn't make it. And the scene is a disaster. It's a mess, a disaster. They do not process this scene well at all.
Well, too many cops probably have the information of suicide, so they're just running around it willy-nilly like we don't need to collect everything.
Well, that's the thing. When they walked in, it was, it's still a crime scene if it's a suicide, but they handle any death, they handle the same way. It's a death investigation. So anybody dies, they send a homicide detective out to look at it and make sure, unless it's like an 88-year-old woman who obviously had a heart attack in her sleep and lives alone and no one was there or something. But for the most part, they send a homicide detective over to look it over and go, this is a suicide or this is a homicide or whatever. Because a lot of people, very common to kill people in stages of suicide. That's super common. So they, but it's mass confusion here. I mean, it's 5:00 in the morning, 4:30, absolute disaster. They said they found no gun. They said that they were looking at everything. Her bed, she's disheveled with her bedclothes. Also, no use of force to get into the house either. No forced entry here. So that's an interesting thing. The detective here said, I looked around and didn't see a weapon, noting that would be close by in a suicide. Yeah. It's not going to go too far. He said someone who is going to take their own life doesn't pull their clothes off first also.
Excellent point.
Yeah. I'm just going to shirt up, underwear off, blow your head off. Yeah. That's not a normal thing. Nobody does that.
I'm not going to expose this whole thing and then do this.
No.
See,
if anything, they
be found like
put clothes on. That's you know what I mean, to whatever. So she was still breathing when they got there, like they said, but they couldn't get anything. She wasn't responsive or anything like that. They couldn't say, what happened to you? So a paramedic named Steve Newland said he wanted to preserve the scene, but he said he hesitantly turned over a bullet casing to a police officer.
God damn it, Steve.
Steve, come on, man.
What are you doing?
Don't touch shit. But they have to because it's right by the body. A paramedic named Jim Thompson said crews necessarily created the mess. They covered her with bandages, monitors, IV tube. They're trying to save her life on the spot. Right. So they're patching her up. I mean, at the point of that, it's not let's find out who did this. It's let's save this person's life. That's the first thing. So whenever you see that, when they show up, that really fucks up a murder investigation when the person's not dead when they get there. Really fucks it up.
If you save this person's life, get them breathing, and then they can say who did it, you don't need to preserve all that shit.
That's another thing, yeah.
But in the event that she doesn't survive, now you've ruined everything.
And you'd rather have no evidence in an attempted murder than a murder. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you'd rather save their life. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So they said she was trying to breathe, but it was not enough to sustain life for very long. Now her autopsy, she arrives at the morgue at 9 a.m. and I have a copy of her autopsy here. The autopsy began. They said during it, they did a rape examination. They advised that there was no signs of sexual assault, no tears, no trauma, no hemorrhaging, no bruises, no visible signs of semen, but cotton swabs they swabbed the mouth, and they swabbed all the entrances here. So they ended up later on, they end up finding the presence of semen, even though, because the way it went, they said, okay, they looked at it and they said, okay, they say she's not sexually assaulted, but this looks like an awful lot like a sexual assault. Like nobody would do this and not try to do anything. So that's why they're saying no. So they did further examination, and it turns out they're not sure it happened to completion, but even if it's not to completion, you're going to get you're going to get some shit coming out early. So
some residual.
Yep, they recovered the slug there. The bullet entered at the left temple, and a path was toward the rear and upward, stopping a half inch in before reaching the right side of the head with no exit. The left eye was swollen shut and black from the gunshot wound. Small portion of the right eye was blackened. Skull was fractured from force of the gunshot. They said she was wearing an upper teeth retainer that was removed from that. Blood samples recovered and delivered to the investigation people here, hair samples and all that sort of thing. They also said a barrel impression was on the victim's temple and powder burns were present. At first, because of the hole size, they thought it was a larger caliber, but it realized it was just a .22 that was right up against her head, like touching her head. So it's pretty wild here.
That's a woman that climbed into bed. She had her upper retainer in, climbed into bed ready for sleep, and there's no forced entry. This is frightening.
This is crazy. Yeah, she was sleeping at 4 a.m. So people they want to look at while the investigation's going on, they have Felicia's there. Also, her ex-boyfriend, who we'll talk about, but Felicia's brother also shows up, who Felicia called, Michael Shepard. They said one of the police officers, James Leroy, Officer Leroy, said that Michael Shepard stood quietly at the end of the kitchen counter. Leroy said, "The brothers seemed to me to be scared about something," he wrote in his notes. So he didn't like that. So they talked to the ex-boyfriend, though. Sit down, Jim. Jim's a lawyer in town. He's a local lawyer. Jim Reno is his name.
Oh.
Jim Reno, who sounds like he sounds like a lawyer that would be like on a big billboard that's like, I can get you the most money for your personal injury. Call Jimmie Reno.
That's a laughable daytime commercial attorney.
Where you're like, Jesus, if I get a DUI, I'm not calling that guy. So he said that he was shocked by the news. He said, quote, I'm devastated over this. I cared for her so much. He said he met her in college. They began dating in March of '89. She would often come to his house on Farm Pond Lane and spend the weekend. And he began to have reservations about the relationship last month and decided to call it off. So he said
he broke up with her.
He broke up with her. He said that they were had a good relationship as friends the last couple days, though, because they when they broke up, they sat down and talked it all out, and it wasn't like a. He said, I didn't do it shitty, and she wasn't mad at me for it. And, she's just not really like that, too. She seems like a nice girl. So
it feels like they agreed that they're not good for each other.
Yeah, he said, we talked things out, got it out in the open. And he also says he provided investigators with everything they asked for. He said, I cooperated from day one, 100%. 100% here. Yeah, so, they said as soon as he got the phone call, he said he threw on a bright yellow University of Tennessee or bright orange University of Tennessee. You know, that Tennessee orange.
Volunteers. Yeah.
Tangerine looking shit. Put on that sweatshirt and ran over to the house because he heard she'd been shot. He said, I didn't know what state she'd be in. I wanted her to recognize me, and I thought the Tennessee sweatshirt with the orange color might be something she could recognize and she would know me.
What a
Wow. Okay.
Successful man.
He's a successful man. He thinks ahead about that. I would have I'd have like jeans on as a shirt. I wouldn't even know what happened. I go, fuck. No wonder why this doesn't fit right. It's
sweats and a hoodie. I'll be there.
If you wake me up and you go, somebody you know has been shot. Come here right now. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm showing up with a shoe on my head. I have no idea what's happening. A hat on my foot.
Dressed like Tony Soprano in a robe and boxers. Hello,
Tony
I'm
Soprano
here.
going out to get the morning paper. So a neighbor said that we looked out our window and saw the police lines and police cars in front of the house. And he said it was a good neighborhood, though, and he's not frightened. So it's all good, the neighbor said. He said, you're never 100% sure there's no danger out there. I don't think there is. But some of the women in the neighborhood may be frightened. Not me and my penis feel pretty good, but...
I don't have one of those vaginas. I'll be all right.
Yeah, you know. I don't know. No one's going to want me. You know what I'm saying?
It's either an ugly guy or just a guy.
Yeah. The next door neighbor, another guy, Charles Buffkin is his name. He said, I've been here 3 years and nothing like this has ever happened. It's pretty quiet and I'm not afraid. Great. Her friends are a little more sad. One of her friends said, it's like a bad dream. She was a happy-go-lucky, vivacious, always smiling, very friendly, a super person who you'd always like to have around. That's what she said. That's from the leader of the church's singles group, of which she was a member. They said she was an outstanding individual and the driving force behind the group, and she blended in well with folks.
Okay.
The principal of the school she works at said she was a very beautiful, very responsible young lady. Everyone here fell in love with her, were also upset. They said that the teachers she taught kindergarten through third grade.
Oh, shit.
So they had to tell the kids what happened.
Why? They won't
because they'd
remember.
find out. I think, yeah. So they told her that she had gone to heaven and that she's happy, and she wants you to be happy too. So don't be sad. Okay.
All right, ABCs, motherfucker.
Let's break out your tablets and we're going to do some spelling. Okay.
A is for apple.
Wow. That's wild. They all said they're horrified, though, all the teachers that know her. They said she was very excited about her career in teaching. She had so much potential to have a happy and productive life. It's a real tragedy it's been cut so short. They said she was the sweetest person you'd ever know. They said, I'd like her to be remembered as someone who always had a smile for somebody else. She was always concerned about how other people were doing, and if you looked down, she'd help you. Yeah, okay. They said that's how it goes. So they want to talk to Felicia more here.
Yeah.
They said that she said, I told 911 I thought she had committed suicide because she said she smelled the gunpowder, and she said, you don't think that someone's going to be going into your house and shooting somebody.
Right.
Which is a weird thing to say, I think. So they're talking to Felicia, and after a while, she stops talking to the cops and gets a lawyer.
Felicia, what the fuck?
Yeah, they try to contact her, and a lawyer calls them back and says, you're not talking to my client anymore unless you want to talk to me. You want to talk to my client, you talk to me, which is Very weird. So the focus now goes on her brother, Michael. They're like, he came over. The cop said he's acting weird. Now Felicia's lawyering up. I don't like this Shepherd clan here. So they said that raised a red flag, and the fact that she wouldn't go in there was weird too. But she said she sticks with her story, and that's all she's going to give. I saw a white sedan. I heard what I heard. And they got a psychotherapist that said between being groggy and frightened, she could have mistakenly believed Melinda had actually shot herself. So that might not be a lie that she, you know what I mean? She might have thought that.
Yeah.
So they've only known each other for 6 months.
Is that right?
Yeah. They've only known each other for 6 months. They moved in together, and her brother also has been known to be attracted to Melinda. So they were like, So one of the detectives said, we looked at the possibility that one of those 3 individuals shot Melinda and got rid of the weapon. So first up, they're kind of clearing Jim at this point, Reno. They don't think he did it. Her brother Michael, though, Felicia's brother Michael Shepherd, they turned their attention to him. They learned he was currently separated from his wife and attracted to Melinda. So that's not great. He helped Melinda move some furniture in the home a couple days before the murder also, and had talked to her. He told cops that he had no romantic feelings for Melinda and willingly handed over his shoes so the prints could be compared to ones collected as evidence from the house. But he refused a polygraph test, and then he got an attorney too. Once they said, are you willing to take a polygraph? He said, I'd like an attorney, thank you. Have a good one. Peace out. Not good. Not good at all. So they're like, this is bad. Anybody else want to throw their hat in the ring as a suspect? Sure, fuck it. Let's get another one in here.
Yeah.
So they speak with Melinda's ex-boyfriend, Jim, again, and they broke up, and they said that after the interview, they believed Jim, and they put him down at the bottom of the list of suspects. Okay. Right now, it's Michael, with the help of Felicia, is something they're considering.
Sure.
And then another one, they focus on the fact that the house is for sale that they live in. It's a rental house that's for sale. And there's a real estate lockbox on the outside. Now, I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works in all the other countries, but here you have a box that hangs on your doorknob that has the key to the house inside. That's the way they used to do it. And the real estate agent, now it's all computerized. They all have their own code, so you know exactly who's taking keys out, when, what times. Right. But back then, it was just a box, and if you had a key to the box, you opened it, took the key out, went in the house. There was no record of it.
Or it had that roller combo code that anybody fucking that knows that roller combo code can get in there.
Yeah. This one had the key box, though. This particular house had the key box, and anyone with the code, it was a code thing to the key box. That's how it worked. You had a code to the key box, and anyone with the code could retrieve the key. So they assembled a list of all the real estate agents who had access to the lockbox as well. So during his interview with police, Jim Reno had said something about a real estate agent who was in the house a couple weeks ago when he was still together with Melinda, and his name was Ed. That's all he could remember, and he said that he acted flirty with Melinda.
Don't like that.
So they find Ed. Ed is Edward G. Cronell, Cronell. He's 28 years old. He's a real estate agent. He worked for the Palmetto Realty at the time. That's when he worked. And he later ends up working for a couple others. I found ads for him in the paper everywhere. You can feel right about Benjamin's Ridge, some neighborhood. And it says, call today, Edward Cronell. There's ones with this picture all smiley. Call Edward. So at Klutz Homes.
I sell Richard's Ridge. What was it?
Benjamin's Ridge.
Gross.
Yeah. Prices in Benjamin's Ridge begin at $65,570 in 1991. So pretty cheap. Either way, so they complete the investigation. They have no charges. They're going to look at him. He right now is a guy they're thinking about as a suspect. It's either Michael or this guy right now. But they don't name him as a suspect. They keep this all under wraps. Yeah, and all of their internal paperwork, he's John Doe, he's known as.
Fascinating.
And Michael Shepherd's known as Jim Doe. So that's how they do it. Yeah, because they don't know what's going on. So they're talking to him, and he's named a suspect internally, obviously, here. And they said that on January 15th, 8 days before the shooting, Ed Cronell had been inside the house. Investigators found out he also drove a white sedan with black molding and a brake light in the back. But a lot of cars in 1990 look like that. Yeah. So but still, I had a car later. I didn't drive in 1990 actually, but later on I had a car that was an '88 and it was You could describe it just like that. White
Yeah.
car, black molding, brake light in the back.
They didn't start painting all the molding on them till they wanted like the sport package or wanted like a streamlined car. But every car had whatever color it was, and then all the molding on all of it was black.
That was it. So the detectives questioned Cronell. He said he'd been in the house when no one was home. He said, I was there when no one was home, which contradicts what Jim Reno said, that he was there acting flirty. He said also that the night of the murder, he couldn't have done it because he was at a bachelor party and didn't leave till around 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, those
the
were
murder
big strippers that
happened
night.
at 4. There is strippers involved, don't you worry.
Oh.
He said that he got into a fight at the bachelor party because it was at a strip club.
Because that's what they do at bachelor
That's what
parties.
you do because that's fun. He said he got in a fight and went to the hospital to get stitches.
Oh, my God. It required a hospital visit.
That's where he was that morning. So he left at 4:30. He's in the hospital after that. Couldn't have done it. Now, investigators check all area hospitals and find no report that he ever went there. That's not good. That's not good. At that point, he gets an attorney and stops talking to the police.
What is happening?
No one will talk to these people whatsoever.
This is like something about Mary.
It's fucking insane. So they said that later on, he tells police no one was home, and then then the person who was actually that he was showing the house to said, oh no, he was there. And they said he spent approximately 2 hours there and spoke with the girls in the house while he was there the whole time.
Why is he lying so much?
Well, that's a good question. The owner of the real estate company here said that, Cronell had a lockbox key and he previewed the home for sale. He said that Cronell told him that Cronell didn't even know it was inhabited. That's what Cronell told his boss. I didn't even know anybody lived there. Meanwhile, he was there. And also, Rock Hill school records show Snyder was out of school that day for a holiday, so he would have definitely been there. Later on, Cronell admits talking to the women at the home. Wow. He says, okay, fine, I talked to him. I just didn't want to look bad. So then
now you look real bad.
So then they get the shoe prints collected at the scene, and they match the roommate's brother's shoes. They match Michael's shoes.
What the fuck?
That's not good. And then he wouldn't talk anymore after that. This was after he stopped talking. So they're like, fuck. So they go back to the autopsy again. On second analysis, like I said, they found semen traces. Now they're like, okay. So they request a blood sample from Michael and from Jim Reno and from Ed Cronell. So Jim Reno immediately consents, no match. Yeah. Not him. The other two refuse.
Of course they do.
Now, months go by, and Michael finally says, okay, fine. He comes. I think his attorney probably said, they're not going to leave you alone unless if you didn't do it, just give them a fucking blood sample and they'll stop talking to you. They'll leave you the hell alone. So he finally said, okay, fine, and he wasn't a match. They said the shoe impressions must have been there from when he helped them move furniture a couple days before. That had to be what it was. So it's shit. Now, they have other witnesses here. There's real estate people that we'll talk about here that know a little bit about Cronell. They also have a 17-year-old neighbor of Melinda who said he saw the same white car in the driveway on the afternoon of January 15th and in the afternoon and evening of January 22nd, the night before.
Oh my God.
So this guy, he said, I saw him stop by twice that day, the night before the night before the shooting. He said the car was similar. It's a Corsica, a Chevy Corsica. Yeah. So they said, what do you think the motive is here? What could the motive be? Maybe that'll help figure out who did this. So the prosecutor, working with the police, said that Cronell was mad, actually. They said he went to the friend's bachelor party. He got basically tossed around by another guy. He got in a fight with somebody, and the guy just threw him into some garbage cans.
Oh, shit.
Like, get away from me, you little turd. You know what I mean? Like, no, like Nick Sabatka with Ziggy outside the bar. Like, stop punching me. What's wrong with you? Did one of those. They said Cronell had been drinking during the bachelor party while a stripper was entertaining. Then his ex-girlfriend showed up at the bachelor party.
Oh, no!
And he was drunk and pissed off and angry. And the prosecutor says, I think that when Cronell left the party, he was intoxicated. He was aroused sexually because there was a stripper around all night. And he was angry and humiliated. They said he probably thought somebody's got to pay. And he was like, I know where there's a pretty young girl who's sitting in there and there's a key to the house that I could get.
Oh, my God.
So they think that's what it is. They said that's their only thing. that they can think of. He thinks that the walking to the bathroom was he was raping her and she probably scratched him. And so they think he went to the bathroom to check it out in the mirror to look in the mirror to see how bad it was. And then he went in and shot her after that. That's what they think. So his former girlfriend, Tabitha Taylor, said that Cronell actually used to keep a small handgun in his trunk all the time. Little tiny guy. So, like only little 22. And they said that he left the party after 1 a.m. He left after 1 a.m. He left shortly after a shoving match with another party goer who threw him into some garbage cans.
Oh, so embarrassing.
Not to mention, Cronell matches the psychological profile put together by SLED and the FBI to a T, including age, race, residence, acquaintance, educational background. He fits it like a glove. So they're like,
is that right?
That's interesting. Now, they talked to some of his coworkers, and they said that the next day they called him nervous and pacing as he ticked off minute-by-minute details of his whereabouts to coworkers the morning after the death. These accounts didn't match what he told the police or what people at the party actually witnessed him do that night. So he has three different stories. Yeah. The coworkers said that he told them that someone beat him up, and he had a scratch and a bruise near his left eye from that. Workers said, because they said, hey, why'd you get a scratch on your face? He goes, I got in a fight at this thing. Workers at the place said that, at the real estate office, said that Cronell told them he'd gone to Piedmont Medical Center for treatment, but left because he didn't want to give his name.
What?
Who goes to the hospital to get treated for something and goes, I'm not going to give you my name, unless you're a gangster who was shot in the street and doesn't want to, give it up. Like, what are you talking about?
What are you about to pay in cash? Because you're about to give him an insurance card that has all that on it.
All your info, medical records. They said he told us everything he'd done from 5 o'clock the night before up until that moment, is what the coworker said, which is weird. A coworker said that Cronell told him that the assailant at the time used a .22 caliber gun, although the police hadn't questioned him or mentioned a weapon publicly at all.
Uh-oh.
He knew the caliber immediately, which is not good. Cronell told him he didn't own a gun, though. So then they said that Cronell denied ever owning a gun, or later on he said he denied ever owning a gun or receiving injuries on his face the night before. So he's told a shitload of different stories that night. It's not great. Everybody said, though, he became very edgy when his former girlfriend came in, started to leave the club, got in a scuffle, thrown into some cans, left in a rage.
She saw it.
And she saw it, which made him even madder.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right. Let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah. They're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals and things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, which is
it's great.
Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up. for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff, and I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options.
Nice.
It's very cool, and you can personalize this portion, and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Calling all dog owners. Your furry friend deserves top-notch nourishment, and Ollie delivers the clean, fresh nutrition your dog needs in 5 flavors they'll absolutely flip over. Ollie is made in U.S. kitchens with ingredients carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world, with absolutely no harmful fillers or preservatives. With protein-first recipes like fresh beef with sweet potatoes, fresh turkey with blueberries, or fresh lamb with cranberries, you might start thinking, dang, my dog eats better than I do. And that's probably true when it comes to Ollie. Give your pup a fresh start this new year by letting them taste test a personalized meal plan with Ollie. Head to ollie.com/Wondery. Tell them all about your dog and use code WONDERY to get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/Wondery and enter code WONDERY to get 60% off your first box. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie.
Now, they also find the woman who actually was looking at the house.
Oh?
The potential buyer of the house. She said that she had $25,000 in cash that she was trying to put down on the house. It was only $50,000 or something. $25,000 cash, and he wouldn't call her back after the 23rd.
Weird.
Yep, as bad as Cornell wanted to sell it, he never called her back, is what the guy said, his boss said. So,
What is that?
Cornell, like I said, is known publicly as John Doe because the cops are fighting in court to try to get hair and blood samples from him, but he's not arrested. Nowadays, you can get a court order to compel them to do that, to get evidence to arrest them. Back then, if you weren't arrested, they couldn't take blood samples from you. Only if you were in custody, that then, your whole everything in your body was in custody and they could take it. But if you weren't in custody, weren't arrested, they couldn't take from you. So
court
that
order only, huh?
You couldn't get a court order to get blood from
but
people.
But you had to arrest to get the court order.
Yes, you had to arrest.
Wow.
Whereas nowadays they use the blood and hair to solve a lot of these cases.
Right.
Your DNA's on that, you're fucked. Right. That's it. So they're trying to figure this out. In the search warrant, they said that he was a suspect for several reasons. So they had all this, probable cause, the car, the lockbox, the differing stories, all this type of shit. But a lower court rules that you can't take blood from an unarrested person.
God damn it.
They rule you can't. It's insane. That is wild. I can't even believe that was a thing back then, that you can't take blood from an unarrested person, even if you have probable cause and take it to a court to get a court order. So they keep fighting this and fighting this and fighting this. So they go all the way to the state Supreme Court. This is like late 1991. And to try to overturn this, at the time there were the two suspects. Like I said, it was Michael and it was Ed. And they just wanted to get blood samples and figure out who was who here. So the Supreme Court finally ruled in April 1992, more than 2 years later, that officers could use a search warrant to get blood and hair samples from John Doe here. So that's what they did. Wow.
Took 2 damn years.
2 years to get finger, palm prints, body fluids, and hair from him.
Oh, boy.
2 years. So the DNA evidence rules out the brother, Michael Shepard.
Yeah.
Not him.
He's free. Yeah.
He's free, like we said. So they say that Cronell, state and federal agents testify later that Cronell may have been the source of semen found on Snyder that night. They said in 5 South Carolina law enforcement division, the SLED comparisons, they call that SLED, so I'll just say SLED from now on, comparisons of Cronell's blood with the semen, 4 matched and 1 was inconclusive because a computer couldn't measure DNA pieces. This is very
early
primitive DNA technology. Now, like I said, you touch something and they could just wipe it and there you are. So one FBI test matched Cronell and 3 were inconclusive.
Okay.
So a SLED agent testified just 1 in 230,000 Caucasian people would match Cornell's DNA profile or pattern of genetic makeup. The probability was 1 in 10 based on the FBI probability was 1 in 10 based on its sample size. SLED's tests were more extensive and bolstered the state's case when its database went online, and they said the DNA profiling can't definitively say a person's body fluid was at the scene of the crime back then. Now it can. Right. But rather that it fits the DNA pattern found in the fluids at the scene. And they tell you this much. Remember with OJ, they were like, it's 1 in 5 billion people. And they were like, well, there's 6 billion people in the world. It could be somebody else. That's what happens.
Billion people, you guys.
Come on. We're just forgetting about a billion Asians? No, I will not forget about the entire country of China. Now, you, sir, are a racist. You want to dismiss the Chinese people. That's the case. You're like, what are you talking about? He killed a lady.
You're chasing my client, who is clearly black, and ignoring Chinese people, you racist son of a bitch.
A billion. And by not including them in the process, you're also racist against them. So they said that the prosecutor said what he did not plan on leaving was his genetic fingerprint. Mm-hmm. Yep, they said the defendant was a prime candidate suspect in the case. Several other suspects had been cleared. They said that this is pretty conclusive as far as he's the only guy who matches, had lockbox capabilities, fits the profile.
The story is very plausible, and he can't explain it away.
Absolutely not. So they search his dad's home in 1992 at 6:50 p.m. 7 officers come in. They recover a .22 caliber pistol with nine live rounds in it, a .22 caliber Remington rifle, and a .22 caliber Winchester rifle. This guy loves his .22s.
He's a big fan.
The weapon used to shoot him in the head, shoot Melinda in the head, has not been found, though. It's none of these guns.
Yeah.
None of these guns. So now their defense is basically saying that this evidence doesn't link their client with the crime. They said the footprint found in the bathroom belongs to other people. It's not even my client. None of his footprints, fingerprints, body hairs were found in the home. None of this. Nor could they match the murder bullet with any of his 3 .22 caliber guns. So he's good. He's good. He tries to get bond. They give him a $150,000 bond. Okay. If you're a guy who's silently breaking into young ladies' homes and raping and murdering them in the night, you don't get bond, in my opinion. You could be dangerous, very dangerous.
And I understand the innocent until proven guilty, but he's the suspect of it, and that's why they arrested him. There should be no. But it's crazy.
Bond is based on how likely you are to show up, not the
not
severity of the crime. Yeah, that's the thing. So they said that their lawyer said we're pleased that the court set bond. Well, yeah. I bet you are.
Yeah.
No shit. I bet you're surprised, too. For real? He said yes. The judge was like, I said bond 150. No shit. I think you heard from the defense. Wow.
We are both pleased and surprised.
Fucking high five, I guess.
Yeah.
So the trial comes up here, and it's first-degree murder, first-degree criminal sexual conduct, and first-degree burglary as well. It's broke in. So his defense attorney repeatedly questions the state's case and its witnesses about the actions that might have destroyed evidence. That's the thing. And he says in his opening, Edward Cornell is not on trial in this courtroom this week. The state of South Carolina and these people sitting here, pointing at the prosecutors, they're on trial.
Balls.
I don't think you know how this works, sir.
The balls.
It's literally the state versus one guy. One guy.
It's not that guy versus the state.
Nope,
they
that's
are
the thing.
Plaintiffs, fella.
I bet if he said, hey, you want to call this off, he'd go, sure, let's all just go home. I bet he doesn't really want to push it. So Felicia testifies, against Cornell. Obviously, she said she heard the noises, the loud bang, the strange car, smelling gunpowder. She said, what I told you before. She heard the footsteps down to the bedroom, up to the bathroom, back to the bedroom, heard a bang, and she said a lot of different thoughts were going on in my head. I didn't know anything was wrong.
Right. And then I did everything wrong.
And then I did all sorts of shit wrong and cast murder suspicion over my brother hardcore. So she said she heard someone leave the house, looked out the window, saw the brake lights of the white car, got back in bed thinking, might have been her leaving. Like I said, heard the moaning, smelled the gunpowder, partially nude, blood coming from her head, calls 911. And she said, I told them that my roommate shot herself because that's what I thought. You don't think someone's going to be in your house shooting somebody.
Right.
Fair enough, I guess. So a police officer here, Officer Leroy, testified that Felicia Kirk told him a slightly different story from what she told investigating officers. He said Kirk didn't mention until later that a white car had left the scene. She didn't mention that till much later, being interviewed later that day at the police station.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah.
When they showed up and all this is going on, and they said what happened, she never mentioned a white car, and later on she brought it up.
She's probably
Seems
not
important.
trying to solve the crime. She's likely just saying what happened. I get that deleting that is very important.
Seems important. What did you see? I saw she only saw like 3 things, and she didn't say one of them. Let's be honest. I heard this, I saw that, then this happened.
I'm trying so hard to defend this poor kid.
I know. I get that's not her fault. This poor kid woke up in the middle of the night, but Jesus Christ, this is like the exact, don't do this if anything happens in your house. Do the opposite of this because you're just casting suspicion on yourself. She didn't do anything. We know that.
If a murder happens around you, just lay down and scream, I didn't do it.
I didn't call the cops and go, the dead person, come over, I don't know, and just stand there with your hands up. I don't know what to do here. So they said Cornell had access to the home. The defense said so did 300 other area real estate agents. Okay. So could have been one of them. Let's get their DNA. So all of them. Another the SLED people agent used the FBI's DNA samples with which to conduct its comparisons, prompting the defense to say, quote, the true matter at hand is to determine whether Mr. Cornell is guilty of these people's accusations. It's not to determine whether or not this is a tragic, horrible case, because it is. Because they kept saying, this is so horrible and tragic, and we know that. So the defense attorney here, Greeley, suggested all types of reasonable doubts attacked the credibility of Felicia Shepard. That's her name, Felicia Shepard Kirk. Felicia is the main one that they're attacking. This girl, she was, obviously did something wrong. She lied to the cops, and she did this. She wouldn't go check on her friend. She behaved suspiciously, reported it as a suicide, wouldn't go into the room.
Yeah.
Doesn't look good for her. Her brother shows up acting quiet and suspicious and weird and shit. So very strange. He also said, what about she just broke up with her boyfriend? What about him?
Yeah.
Said, yeah. So they said, what proof was there that Snyder didn't voluntarily have sex with someone before she was murdered? He said as well. The defense attorney said. The only evidence the state had against Cornell was a second DNA test conducted by SLED. They said this test indicated that his DNA profile found in the semen on the victim would only occur, like we said, every 230,000 people, Caucasian people. They said the ones conducted by the FBI indicated in the DNA sampling it was only 1 out of 10. Greeley said, that's nothing. He said, this courtroom has 40 people in it. 4 of you are likely to have the same profile. Should you be on trial?
You bunch of murderers.
You bunch of murdering son of a bitches. But this is one of those cases where the DNA is, unless another person who fits that profile happened to have access to the house and stories that are all fucked up, timelines that are all out of whack, and multiple lying and marks on their face after they attacked a woman in her sleep and all that type of thing. It's kind of tough. So the verdict here doesn't take the jury very long to find him guilty of everything, all the whole duration here. Sentencing, they got him good here. You, sir, may fuck off 2 life terms concurrent. So same time, though, not consecutive, plus 30 years.
Okay, that's good.
For that. Yes, so he's taken in. They're going to find out which prison he's going to go to, but he's eligible for parole after 20.
Yeah, I mean, it's South Carolina. I figured they were going to use him as shark bait or some shit.
No, 20. 20 is eligible for parole. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, you figure he would be cut up for chum, but no. So his lawyer said that he couldn't comment on the reaction to the verdict. He said that he wouldn't fault the jury's verdict. He said the jury sat through several days of testimony, and I'm not going to sit back and question the judgment by those 12 people. That's theirs and no one else's. Whatever the verdict is of the jury, I accept that as the verdict. You have no choice, so enjoy.
And he's like trying to guilt them about what they did.
Yeah, I mean, sure they fucked up, but I'm not going to say they're dicks for it. Just regular people doing their job.
I mean, it's another man's life, but you guys did.
Hey,
I mean,
life hangs in the balance, but what are you going to do, right?
If you can sleep at night, I'm fine with it.
Hey, if you can sleep, I'll sleep too. All right. The prosecutor said definitely DNA was the clincher, probably investigation-wise as well as prosecution-wise. The DNA was basically the common link or thread that allowed us to tie a large portion of the other evidence, largely circumstantial, together. They may not have been unable to stand alone without the DNA. Otherwise, it was just a guy in a white car. True.
Yeah.
True. So 1998, he wants a new trial.
Oh, really?
New trial. He's like, this is ridiculous. He alleges that his attorney, who said all that crazy bullshit, that attorney... This guy pulled a lot out of his ass. I mean, he pulled every trick out of the book you can pull, and he said that he mishandled the case, that attorney. Fucked it all up. Need a new trial. He said, his attorney, he said he never testified at the first trial at his lawyer's insistence. He wanted to testify. He could have proclaimed his innocence.
He's out of his fucking mind.
He's a salesman. He thinks he could have sold it to the jury.
Yeah, you're right.
I know they were looking for 4 beds and 3 beds, but this 3-bed, 2.5, you know what?
Budget. I can get them.
They're going to like this neighborhood, and the school district is good. I think I can get them to buy it. That's literally what he was thinking, I think.
That's natural gas, not propane.
That's it. Cornell said, I mean, they'll live with it, I think. Cornell said, after the trial, we came across statements from other people that I'd never seen. I can recall during the trial when a state's witness was called, and he leaned over and asked me if we had any questions for him. So he's like, he wasn't even doing anything. I was running the case, basically. His new attorney said that his new attorney gave a list to the court of 110 things that the old attorney did or didn't do that may have cost the case. It included everything from diagrams being drawn in red, the color of blood, can't have that, to not determining whether Snyder was left-handed or right-handed. Okay. They said the biggest point of contention was the DNA evidence used to put him at the scene. They said that this, it had been properly validated, and that Grilli should have called an expert to dispute it. Yeah.
So they're trying to say because she was shot on her left side.
Yeah. What about that?
Right side, she would have to be a left hand. He'd have to be a left hand. Or if he was done it from behind her.
No, they said her. They never figured out what hand she was, which doesn't make a difference because she didn't kill herself.
There was no gun there.
So who fucking cares? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So Cornell's father, Bill, testified about meetings he had with his son and the son's lawyer, saying that he passed notes to his son's attorney and even copied weather reports from the library that they introduced into evidence, which could place another man at the crime scene. This lawyer said of Bill, the dad, quote, he studied into the guts of the case.
Okay.
A weird thing to say. Also in 1998, Jim Reno, the ex-boyfriend, he ends up being elected to the Rock Hill City Council.
Oh, pretty good dude.
Very upstanding here.
Yeah.
2014, he's up for parole for the first time.
Holy shit, that's right.
Okay. I found the video of this. There's the video of his hearing is on YouTube.
Really?
First of all, it's like 3 minutes long. He gets like 3 minutes. They're pumping him out, no problem. So
is he defiant?
He said, well, we'll talk about it. They say, what are your plans? He says, right away, my plans are to move to New York with my Aunt Nancy and get something in the flower business.
Okay.
Because he says he's behaved the last 20 years in prison. He's kept the same job, which is horticulture, I guess it's called.
Okay. He's growing shit.
Growing flowers and plants, and the prison sells those and makes money that way.
Okay.
So he said he's made the prison thousands of dollars in plant sales, and he's learned his true passion for plant cultivation.
Okay. He's going to be a florist.
Yeah. He said he'll take any job when he gets out, but then he wants to get into a career in plants. That's his main deal. So here's a question and answer. Question. How do you feel about the crime you committed?
Yeah.
Awful, he says. That's all. Awful.
That's it?
Awful. That keeps me up at night. I have nightmares, and it's, the worst thing I ever did. Awful.
I grow flowers about it. Anything. Just
awful.
awful?
Let me tell you how to grow a chrysanthemum. They said, how do you feel about the victim and the victim's family? These are important questions that they ask at parole that you really need to knock out of the park. He said, quote, to be honest with you, I'd like to talk to the victim's family sometime if that could be arranged.
The parole board's going to tell you to never be near them. What are you talking about?
I'd like to I'd like to try to talk them out of this. I think I can talk them into it. That's what it is. He thinks he could talk them into being on his side. They said, well, what would you say to them? And he said, quote, Listen to this shit. Listen to the words he's saying. This guy's a fucking scumbag. He says, quote, I want to apologize that they have to go through this parole hearing after all this time. I'm sure this is very traumatic for them, and I feel awful not only for them, but for my entire family and for many people I don't even know.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I want to apologize that they have to go through this parole hearing. Not that they have been without their daughter for the last 24 fucking years because I killed her and stole her from their lives and her whole future.
He's trying to say, I hate that they have to relive this, but
yeah.
Doug, they've been living it.
He will not admit that he did it, though.
No.
That's the thing. They said, what led you to do what you did?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a very straightforward question, which you better fucking answer in a parole hearing. Yeah. And he said, quote, I could not tell you, sir. What do you think the guy said to that?
You better try.
You've had 20 years to think about it. That's why we put you in prison for that long. So you could think about what the fuck you did and maybe get some remorse and be a member of society, asshole.
You had 20 years to consider that, and you sit before me with no answer?
And he might have the worst answer in the history of parole hearings. Like, they should show this to prisoners as what not to do in a parole hearing. He then says, and you know what? I could do another 20 years, and I could not explain it to you. I have no idea why.
Let's give that a try.
So, great. Maybe 25 years from now, you'll have a fucking answer for me.
Wow.
Eat dicks. So they said, well, if you don't know why, how can we set you free and not expect this to happen again if you don't know why? Right. And he said, I understand your point. I understand your position. That's
Sir, are you trying to get parole or not?
Dude, right? So then they said, all right, well, thank you very much. Then the family comes in and they put the picture of Melinda up and they talk about how wonderful she is. And obviously she was. And the father, Jerry Snyder, he says, this guy will rape and kill again. Don't let him do it. They said, don't let him do it. Cronell said, and also one of the police officers testified, and Sheriff Bruce Bryant, he said that Cronell was, quote, the most dangerous man I've ever seen in more than 180 murder investigations.
Everybody is Barry Bonds on that fucking resistol, or whatever that shit's called.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
just crushing these.
Crushing it. Boom, 450 into the bay, baby. Yeah, take that, Babe Ruth, suck a dick.
While Cronell is dropping bunts. What is happening?
It is. He's swinging and missing left and right. It took the parole board 3 seconds to vote no.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Jerry Snyder said life sentence should mean life in jail. End of story. So we were very happy with the outcome. And they also said the father said he might be willing to talk to Cronell at some point. The mother said, I have nothing to say or hear from him. He can go fuck himself, basically.
Truly, yeah.
Not interested. 2016, up for parole again. He's up for parole every 2 years, by the way. These poor people, every 2 years. They don't even live in South Carolina. Every 2 years, they have to go to South Carolina and go through this again.
That's not a vacation at all.
Nope, he's denied again in 2016 and 2018. 2016, when they denied him there, that's when an investigation discovery one came out. Yeah. Came out like 2 weeks before his parole hearing, which isn't good for him at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. So here is a member of the parole board here. Of the Broad River Correctional Facility. I served time, or somebody not. I thought they worked there. They were in prison. There's a guy named Jason. I don't say his last name, but it's a comment on this thing, and he said, "I don't know how true this is, obviously, but I'm throwing it out there. I served time with this guy at Broad River Correctional Facility in Columbia in 2016 and 17, and I can tell you he has zero remorse for what he did." In the penitentiary, you never ask whether a person's guilty or even ask about their crime for that matter, but he freely talked about his crime. All this POS ever complained about was how his lawyer screwed him. Not that he was sorry that he took someone's daughter, sister, friend away from them. I can tell you firsthand that the only thing he is sorry for is that he got caught. He needs to stay right where he is until he can come to terms with what he did. You would think that after having 20 years to think about something like what he did, he could get to a place of true sorrow and remorse. Wow. So
unbelievable.
Today, he is, from what I understand, at the medium security Broad River, which is the same one that guy was in, Correctional Institute in South Carolina. He's been denied. His last parole eligibility was March 24th, 2023, and I didn't see he was released, so I assume he was denied. He's only been disciplined behind bars for a couple things, possession of a cell phone and using social media. but that's it.
Hate
There's a change.org petition, by the way, everybody, and you can get in on this if you'd like to keep this asshole where he is. It is a change.org petition. Keep Edward Cornell in prison for the murder of Melinda Snyder.
Yeah.
And 2,729 people out of 5,000 have signed it. We could very easily get that over 5,000 there. He's ID number 210762 is, I think, in his deal there.
Go sign that today.
Sign that shit if you want to sign that shit and keep that asshole in prison. But that, everybody, is Rock Hill, South Carolina. Rock Ridge.
Yeah.
It just makes me think of of Blazing Saddles and a wild-ass story. That's, wow.
Oh, my God.
That's
James, if he wasn't caught, that was going to get way worse in Rock Hill.
I want to know if there's anybody, because he sold real estate all the way through 94 when they put him to trial, or 93. So, Jesus Christ.
Done it so many times.
He's had access to keys for that long.
Yeah.
Think about that shit. So,
is this his first time? Jesus.
Who knows? It doesn't seem like it. This is a weird first time to do. So, whatever. If you like that show or like anything we do, tell the world about it. Get on whatever app you're listening on. Give us 5 stars. It helps drive us up the charts. So thank you for doing that. Keep an ear out for Your Stupid Opinions, which is coming out as soon as we can get it out. The show's done. We're waiting on all the business stuff. The feed's being set up. All shit we have no control over. Contracts for ad shit. We just have to wait for other people. So as soon as humanly possible, Your Stupid Opinions on Monday mornings. It's going to be great. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Get all the bonus stuff. Anybody $5 or above, you get it all this week for crime and sports. What you get, boxer deaths in the ring.
Yep.
Beat to death in front of thousands of cheering people. That's wonderful. And then for Small Town Murder, American Hollow, which is a crazy documentary that makes the wild and wonderful whites of West Virginia look like the royal family. And there's murder involved as well. So check that out. You also want shutupandgivememurder.com. August 12th, Chicago. Come see us, baby. A special only Chicago live show that night. So come see that. Later on, also, a few other cities have tickets left. Dallas, Charlotte, Atlanta, Philly, and Dallas. I said that already. Atlanta, DC has a few left. So get in there, get those tickets, shutupandgivememurder.com. Keep coming back and seeing us constantly. You want to follow us on social media? Very easy. At Small Town Murder is Instagram, at Murder Small, Twitter, at Small Town Pod, Facebook. You want to find us? Shutupandgivememurder.com. Drop the links. You'll find us. We're on social media. That said, thank you so much, everybody. Until next week, it's been our pleasure. If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.